Hi, well, good afternoon. This is a fine October morning. We here in Israel just came out of a Shmita year. A Shmita year is a year where we sow no seeds, plant no trees, we don't work the ground at all. And we don't prune, we don't do anything that would encourage new growth. We let the ground rest. Just basically every 7 years, we just let nature take its course. We don't really add any inputs. There were some trees that really needed help. You know, if there's a tree that looks like, the branches died or whatever, you should really cut back the dead space, especially if it's caused by disease. You should die. Now, if there's no clear sign of disease in a Shmita year, you're not allowed to prune the tree. You're not allowed to cut back the tree. You're only allowed to prune and cut back if there's a clear sign of disease that's going to infect the rest of the tree or other trees around it. So we have here some trees that really needed pruning, but I couldn't do it because of Shmita. And it's really depressing because, just depressing. I'll give you one example. Here, look. This pear tree stands taller than I am. But everything from this point on is dead. Everything from here. And then down here, you can see the tree is still alive. Struggling, but still alive. This is the tree that while it was still small, or at some point throughout the year, I would have pruned it back and said, you know what, I'm going to help this tree. But because there was no clear sign of disease, I couldn't trim it back. At the end of the day, this is a very good example, because let's say that you come across a new property, or let's say that there's a tree that you discovered that it's like this. What do? Well, obviously you prune it back to where it's live and then let the tree start again. Here's another example of a tree that looks like it needs help. These branches, they look old, they look dead. If you clip it, it's dry. So this leads back down here to this branch. So I can trim this branch off and it will help to revitalize the rest of the tree. And again, I can add amendments to the soil in the form of compost to help give this tree nutrition. Here's another example of a tree that had difficulties this summer, and I couldn't really help it. I get to prune it back here so that this will then become the main branch. Take a look at that flower. Do you see the flower here? See that? Wrong season, but it's flowering. So if you come across a tree and you say, wait a second, what happened here? Part of the tree is dead, etc. You just prune back the dead parts so that the living parts can thrive. Now, I think that the reason that these trees had difficulties was, one, there was a fire earlier towards the end of the summer, last summer, and it burned all the leaves off of this tree and off of the pear tree, and those trees never came back. Another thing is I could make no amendments whatsoever to the soil during Shmita year. Now that Shmita is over, I can add more nutrients, I can add more compost, and revitalize the ground, because remember, underneath these buckets the ground was like concrete. That's it for today. Until next time.